Hey everybody, welcome back to Arena Hacks. My name is Kyle Wagner. Today I'm just going to talk to you guys about a few things that I just feel like I should share. Just my opinion on some value of events. I'm also going to get into some sideboarding, what that is if you don't know what that is, and how to do it on Arena, and what it's useful for if you're really new to Magic the Gathering and don't really sideboards. What is that? It seems confusing. I'll help you out with that a little more. If you're more experienced with Magic and know about sideboarding, I'm just gonna help you figure out how do you do sideboarding in this program. How do you add cards? How do you use them in your deck? And it's all pretty straightforward and pretty simple for that step here. But I'm going to start with events and talking about events. So we're going to take a look at the standard event. Now, recently somebody asked about the standard meta event when that event was going on, which was a special event called Standard Meta Event. This is just called Standard Event. I thought he or she was talking about this, but they were actually talking about the Standard Meta Event, and I answered as if they were talking about this, but then I realized that what they were really talking about, and then I just said, and then I looked at the event and responded again and just been like, yeah, I made the mistake that you were talking about this event instead, but I'm like, my advice is pretty much the same. The rewards were a good bit different in the Standard Meta event, but the whole event was more or less the same. And when it comes to the question of whether or not these events are good value, it really depends on how many wins you get. When you get 3 wins, I would say you're probably breaking even. You're only getting about 80% of your gold back, but you're getting 3 free uncommon cards, so that's worth roughly 100 gold, or should be. I figure it should be. So you are pretty much breaking even at 3 wins. So as long as you're getting a minimum of 3 wins, you're just kind of earning cards, uncommons, in a more fun way by playing games, right? And getting these wins. Once you get more than 3 wins, you're actually doing pretty good, and you're getting value then. See, here you're getting your money back, plus you're getting 3 free uncommons. So there you go. You had fun playing a bunch of games, and you got 3 free uncommons for doing it. Obviously, once you get to 5 wins, that's when it gets really sweet, because now you're getting a rare card in there, plus you're making money. You're getting 100 coin more than what you spent to enter the event, so you're actually making gold coin in this case here, and every win after that. When you get up to 7 wins, even the full wins, which I don't know what it is, 3 or 4 in traditional, it's the same thing. You're doubling your entry fee. Actually, you're doubling it plus 100, I think. So in the traditional, it's 1,000 for the entry fee, 1,000 gold, and when you get all the wins, you get 2,100 gold back. This one, you get 1,000 gold back, so you're really getting double what your entry fee is. Instead of 110%, you're just getting 100%. But so that's my opinions on the value. When it also comes to value, I had some bad experiences with events, both recently and several months ago. And I did, the person who asked about events, I did actually tell him a little story about that, which I'll try to quickly tell you guys right now. Basically, just several months ago, I entered in this event. The background picture was different. This is Zendikar. It was before Zendikar came out. So, oh no, wait. Whatever. Who cares about the picture? Anyways, the point is, I entered this exact event, and it was after I was playing in ranked a whole bunch with a really good red aggro deck that I had. It was getting a lot of wins. I was ranking up. I was in gold and just cranking out wins in gold. So I'm like, okay. And that's what I was doing. I was trying to prepare and make sure I was ready to go in this event and get all the wins and get great value. So I entered the event and hit 3 straight losses. Just like that. 500 gold, I got this. I got 3 uncommons and 100 gold back. So for 400 gold, I got 3 uncommons, and I didn't have any fun getting them because it was terrible. I didn't get my lands, or I got nothing but lands. It was just back and forth between those 2 problems. It was just awful. And so it's like I didn't have fun. I didn't get good value. I really have nothing positive to say about that experience. Months went by, never even touched events. And then not the standard meta, the standard Kaldheim event that came up, where you could only use Kaldheim heart cards. Again, the rewards were different, but very similar. That was for the rewards, and it was very similar. I was playing a deck. I was doing really good with it, getting wins. I think I had 1 loss out of 5 games. So then I brought it to the Kaldheim event. And that was like, those should have been harder games when I was testing it, because I was just doing the regular play. So that means opponents could be using cards from any set, and I was stuck only using Kaldheim because I was preparing the deck for the Caltime event. So I lost 1 game out of 5. I went in the event, I got 1 win right away, long grindy win, and then the other 2, same thing. I just got screwed over for card draw. So there's a lot of luck involved in these events, whether or not you actually do get your value back. Because like I said, I shouldn't have had those. I should have had better experiences in the events than that. It was all because of just bad luck. I don't think it's bad luck. I think it's bad programming on the shuffler. A very poor random number generator is what I've come to the conclusion. Because there are other things in this game that seem to not be random when they should be. So I think it's their random number generator that's either not working, or they programmed it intentionally not to work. I don't know. All I have is theories. I have no proof of anything, so I'm not going to make any accusations there. But that's that's my whole thing, and I'm pretty sour about the way my events have been going lately, so I just don't play them. I wish I had better news for you guys. If you find your luck is not working out that way and you can consistently get 3-4 wins, go ahead. Do this. Use these to help get your what do you call these quests? These things, your daily quests. Yeah, use it to go. You hammer these out, and you get wins, and you get the rewards from the event. You're getting it all at the same time. Like if this is working out for you, and you guys aren't getting the same luck that I do, like yeah, go ahead, do those events. You get great value when you can get those wins. You get great value from them. So go ahead and do them. That's my opinion on events. I told you some of my bad experiences with events. Sorry for all the negativity, but that's just what happened to me. I feel like it's right to share it with you. I think I was also pretty open. I'm like, if you do find you work with events, they're okay. But now we're going to go on to a little something called sideboarding. What deck should I use to help you guys help you guys see sideboarding? It doesn't really matter. Let's do sack and grab. It's my last video I did was on this deck. So for all the people who are experienced with Arena or with Magic, but not so much with Arena, and they're just like, I don't even know how to create a sideboard. Well, there's a little thing right up here in the top of your deck, right above all this, the box picture, sack and grab, this graph here, right above, there's a thin bar there, and it says sideboard, and you click it, and here's your sideboard. You're only allowed 15 cards in a sideboard, maximum, and you add them to your sideboard by just clicking on a card, and it's just like building your deck. You just click it multiple times, add 3 of them. Let's add one of this guy. You can add a couple more that you don't have, but that makes the deck invalid. Even if the main deck, right, you just see this changes to deck, so you just click it and you go back and forth between deck and sideboard, right? So if I go here and I add cards, it adds it to the main, right? If I click here and add cards, it adds it to the sideboard. If you already have cards in your main deck, like a full set of them, then you can't add any to your sideboard. If you have 2 of a certain card, you can only have the other 2 copies in your sideboard. Between your sideboard and your main deck, there can only be 4 copies of a card in total, right? So you always have to pay attention to that when you're building your sideboards. Now, the thing about sideboards originally is they were for back in the days with cards, paper Magic, and you would go to an event, you'd go to some kind of hall that was rented or something like that, and you would bring a deck, and you'd have to enter a deck list so that they made sure all the cards were valid for that event. You're not using any illegal cards or cards that are banned for that event or cards that are just banned in general, right? So they make you enter a deck list. So you enter a deck list with a sideboard, and the sideboard is basically, so in the middle of the event, if you want to swap some cards out in your deck, you're allowed to do that, but the people running the event have to know that your cards are valid, right? So you have to enter a deck with a sideboard so that they can check the sideboard, make sure you're not running any illegal cards in the sideboard. Once everything checks out, that sideboard is all you're allowed to access in between games. You can't modify your deck in the middle of the game, obviously, but at the end of the game, you go, oh man, I'm encountering a lot of people who run this and this. I have this card that would work really good for that, so I'm going to take these cards out of my deck, I'm going to put those cards in, and you make the adjustments as you play. Now, when you go to traditional events and traditional style play, you can just play for fun. Traditional for fun, traditional ranked down here, but we're gonna go look at the traditional event here. So yes, you play, this win is when you win against one opponent, 2 out of 3 matches, or 2 out of 3 games, you get 1 match win and you go here. So this kind of stuff, yeah, bring a deck with sideboard. Traditional kind of stuff is mainly what sideboards were created for. What you would do is you have your deck, you play a game with the person, and after your first game, you see what kind of deck they're running. So then you have a sideboard. So in between those games, because you're playing 2 out of 3, right? So in between those games, you access your sideboard, you swap out whatever cards you think will be better for it, and then you can basically change your deck. And that's what the sideboard is. And that's how you use the sideboard. I showed you how to build it, how to take cards out of it. I showed you all that stuff there. So I'm just going to go take a... Whoops. I didn't mean to click. I meant to click decks. Let's just go take a look there. I want to make sure I just didn't actually change it or anything. It's still the way it was. Yeah, it is still the way it was. So that's okay. When it comes to sideboarding, there was something... Okay, right. I remember. So... it's 4 mana. It's a rare, and it's white. Where is it? Oh. Is it not 4 mana? Oh, I don't have any. That's why. I actually don't have any of them. Where is it? Why is this taking so long? It's supposed to be quick. There it is. Legion Angel. Now, there are other cards. I believe if you go blue, I'm not going to look for the card to show you. That took a little longer than I wanted it to there. But anyways, blue has something called Fae of Wishes. And Fae of Wishes, much like the Legion Angel, has an ability where you access a card that's outside of the game, a card you own outside of the game. And it's funny, I've seen people playing where their opponents forget about this little rule that I'm going to teach you. Very critical. If you're running cards like Legion Angel or Fae of Wishes, this is something you really have to make sure you're doing properly. I've seen so many people make the mistakes. Unfortunately, my opponents never make this mistake. When they're running a Legion Angel, they always have Legion Angels in their sideboard. They always remember to put the Legion Angels in their sideboard. So the way Legion Angel works is, because when you play it, it's a 4 mana 4/3. When you play it, when it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a card you own from outside of the game named Legion Angel. A card you own named Legion Angel from outside the game. I said it in different, whatever. Outside the game, put it into your hand. So you never run more than 1 Legion Angel in your main deck. Yes, it'll make it rare that you run into your Legion Angel, since there's only 1 in your deck. The odds are you won't run into it that often, but when you run into it, it's really sweet because you can access 3 other cards that aren't even in your deck. It's like having a 63 card deck that is only 60 cards, which is, what? That's not even possible, but that's exactly what this allows you to do. Same with Fae of Wishes, because Fae of Wishes has an ability where you can bring pretty much any card you own from outside the game, and you bring it and you put it in your hand or something like that, or on top of your library or whatever. But the thing is, if you run 1 Legion Angel in your deck and no Legion Angels in your sideboard, you can't, even if you have more Legion Angels in your collection, you can't access them. They have to be in your sideboard, right? So if you're running Legion Angels or you're using cards like Fae of Wishes, those are the only 2 I can think of off the top of my head. I know there are more cards that bring cards from outside the game into the game. Those cards need to always be in your sideboard. If you're running a card like this, you must always remember to put cards in your sideboard, or this will be useless, right? So always remember that. That is something very critical that I wanted to tell you about sideboarding. It's not really why sideboarding was created or was a part of Magic in the first place. I already explained to you why sideboarding was a thing for the traditional play, as well as any events that you wanted to maybe modify your deck in the middle of, just to make sure that you have all the valid cards. But this is another use for sideboarding as well. And it kind of goes hand in hand, right? Like, they don't want you access, well, this card is a Legion Angel. You should be able to access this in your collection. It says you have to grab a Legion Angel. So they don't need to check that it's valid. It's a Legion Angel. They already saw you have 1 Legion Angel in your deck. They shouldn't have to check your sideboard for Legion Angels. You should just be allowed to grab other Legion Angels that you have and put it in your deck. That's the way the card is worded too, right? Take it from outside the game. It doesn't say in your sideboard. It says outside the game. So, but yeah, no, I get for the events, yeah, you need to check your cards, make sure they're all valid. Oh yeah, right, Legion Angel. It's only Legion Angel. I don't know. But anyways, I think that was about everything for this video. I know this was a short one for a Thursday video. There's just a few things that I wanted to discuss there. The events and the sideboarding. And I think I showed you pretty much everything there is about it. When it comes to sideboarding on a draft, it's you don't really create a sideboard, and your sideboard, I think, is bigger than 15 cards. I can't remember. You draft your cards, right? You use so many of them to make a 40 card deck. The other cards are basically your sideboard. You're allowed to access them in between games and modify your deck with them, but it's not really a sideboard, right? It's just the cards you drafted, and you're always allowed to access the cards you drafted in your draft, right? In between games. So that's something else I didn't mention, but again, like I said, yeah, it's not too big. It's not even, it's like if you drafted before, you've probably sideboarded without even knowing you were sideboarding. So, and it's the same thing in a draft. So when you were drafting Zendikar, if you were lucky enough to pick up 2 Legion Angels, which would be almost impossible in a draft, good luck with that. But if you were able to pick up 2 Legion Angels, you would run 1 in your deck, and 1 you would just leave outside of your deck, because that would count. You would be able to access that in the draft. But that being said, I think that's everything for today's video. I hope this was all useful to everybody, and I hope it answers questions that you might have about sideboarding or events, or if you've played a Legion Angel before and you're wondering, why don't I get to use its ability? Why don't I get to get another? I have more Legion Angels. Why don't I get to bring them in my hand? It's because you're not running them in your sideboard. They need to be in your sideboard before you go into a game, or else you won't have access to them. Same with Fae of Wishes, but if you're new to MTG and Arena, you probably don't have any Fae of Wishes? I don't know how to pluralize that. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. So that being said, that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it and got some value out of it, please hit the thumbs up, share it, subscribe, all that stuff, like I say every time. But have a great week. Go make some magic happen, and cheers.